I can. And Linda?
Okay, no. Okay, Linda is actually trying to join us. Okay, so hello everybody. We're getting connected here. So we have some people joining us. And I would like to first of all welcome you. We have a third person on board, and then we're going to introduce everyone. And I'm very excited about today because we have two very special people from Israel and also from the UK, and myself from Italy. And oh, there she comes.
Yay.
Okay. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Okay, so we're ready to roll. First of all, I wanted to welcome everybody who's watching us today. Hello, my name is Katja. I'm a business coach and I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a mom. And we have two very special people here. We have Yonit WERBER from Israel. And she's also an author of over 50 books, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And she's a financial freedom coach. We're going to have a lot of questions for her today. And you're also mom of two, and then you have 4 bonus kids.
Yeah.
Your husband has 4 more, so wow, big family. That's great. And then hello, Linda ATTRAM. Hi, from the UK. And Linda's also a best-selling author. She's actually created a group, Women in Business, and she's a mother of 3 beautiful kids. And Yonit and I met, I think we met like 3 years ago, right? And did we?
Even more. Maybe
in Rome. Maybe I met your husband. I actually did a project together with your husband in London, like 7 years ago, I think, at Train the Trainer. And Linda and I met in Barcelona, well, close to Barcelona, actually.
That's right.
A really, really special, very life-changing course. Called The Enlightened Warrior. Wow, we're warriors. All 3 of us are warriors. That's how I feel sometimes anyway, especially in these challenging times. So I'm very, very grateful that you could be here today with us. And yeah, I just would like to ask everyone who's like watching us, maybe you could type into the chat where you're watching from and say hello. So later on, we're also going to let you ask questions. If you actually have any questions for Yonit or for Linda or myself, please feel free to type them into the chat, and time permitting, we're actually gonna try to answer them, okay? So, who do we start with? Yonit.
Okay.
Can I start with you? And I have so many questions because you're in Israel. It's a very life-changing time for everyone right now, all over the planet, correct? Because well, everything is shut down now in Israel. It's mandatory to also wear like masks, and you're not allowed to leave the house, kind of like in Italy. Now it's getting to the point where it's very, very much like here, no? And your kids have been out of school and so on. But tell us, you're actually a coach. You're a financial freedom coach. So what do you do right now? You have so many clients asking you questions and so on, asking you for advice. What do you actually tell your clients who may have a business that's been shut down and they're really suffering right now?
So first of all, I would like to say that the situation in Israel is not easy, because we have now more than 1 million people who are unemployed.
Oh, wow.
And, when the corona started, we had 4% of unemployment, and now we have more than 26%. So the situation is very challenging. But me as a person, I like to see the positive side of everything. And I think this situation has some positive sides for it. First of all, we need to remember that everything is temporary, and this too will pass. Although it's challenging, it will pass. And I think that one of the most important things that I tell my clients and people around my Facebook is don't feel helpless. Even if you are not employed right now, even if your business is closed, you as a person have value. And the most important thing to do is to know your value. And sometimes we don't know it, or sometimes we forget what our value is. And these days, we must all know our value and try to ask ourselves, what do people need? What needs do the people have? And how can my value give help for the people? Because money is created, incomes are created when there is a meeting between your value and the needs of the people. So ask yourself these questions and be flexible, be creative, be open-minded. And people now have like new jobs or new business opportunities, even if it's going to be temporary or not, we don't know. But everyone can be flexible and change and recreate. And I think that if you want to create incomes, you can always find a way.
That's beautiful what you just said. You know, I just actually read something the other day which said it's not the strongest ones to survive, it is actually the ones who are most adaptable, which is true, no?
Yeah.
I mean, now in this situation especially, everyone around the world needs to adapt to the situation. So it's exactly what you said. Look for opportunities. If you need to make a living, you need to feed your kids. Why not do a job that otherwise you wouldn't be doing, no?
Yeah, it's not only look for opportunities, it's create them by yourself.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Linda, Linda, what do you say to your clients when they come to you? Because in England, you got a later start to actually protect everyone, it seems like. And then now my own daughter is actually still in London. And she says, I mean, it's getting to the point where, you know, people are starting to be really worried and so on. So what do you tell your lady clients who actually have businesses and who are trying to survive in this very unprecedented time?
Thank you for that question, Katja, and thank you again for this opportunity to be on your platform. So the sort of things that I tell my clients is that, you know, we're all in this together. It's something that's been completely unexpected, that we weren't expecting at all. So utilize all of your resources, you know, look at other people and get help and support from other people and advice. Don't try and go it alone and get yourself all frustrated and emotionally connected to what's happening. Try to, I know it's very difficult because it's very challenging, but try to disconnect yourself from the emotional side of your business, because you need to have a very rational head. And like what Yonit was saying about, you know, don't, you know, not feel helpless and, you know, try to create opportunities. If you're getting in your head and you're thinking constantly in a state of fear, you're not going to be able to think rationally about how you can improve your business, and utilizing this time now to look at your business to improve it, but also at the same time looking at how you can approach your business in a different way. What is it that you can do to assist your customers, your client base, so that you don't lose them, even if you're at the stage where you think, I'm about to lose my whole business? Use this time now to think logically about how you can improve your business going forward.
And to connect with your clients, no, that's true.
Yeah.
And to stay connected, most of all. Yeah, I think that's very, very important. Very much.
Communication is so key. And it's not just about communicating with our clients when we have a good business, when it's thriving. You know, when we go into business, it is a risk. So we have to expect there will be ups and downs. But like I said before, nobody expected it to be as it is now. But communicating with your clients is key at this point of time, because as well as us needing support, they need support as well. And I see this as a temporary blip. Okay, so if it's going to be temporary, at some point we're going to get back to some sort of normal. And those clients out there are the ones that we want to go back to. So if we're in a state of fear and panic and we decide, oh, well, let's just ditch the business, let's ditch our customers, when we're over this, we're going to have to start all over again. What's the point? let's utilize the resources we've got right now and stay connected with our customer base.
Very true. But what do you actually say, Yonit? What do you say to your clients if they come to you and they say, oh, I have anxiety attacks. I really don't know how to even get a good night's sleep anymore because I'm so overwhelmed by the situation.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, breathe. It's good advice every time. But, I like to remind people that time goes by, whether you are happy, whether you are not, and you always have a choice how to feel. And everyone is having like a roller coaster feeling right now. But when you realize that you are down, catch this moment and do whatever you can to lift yourself up. And Linda was talking about getting help and not doing things alone. And I think it's a very good advice at this time. It's a very good one. And this is one of the things that I tell my clients. Also, regarding the connection with your clients, I want to tell you, to give you an example of one of my clients. She has a kindergarten. And these days, the kindergarten is closed. And it looks like her business, she's out of business. Mm-hmm. And we thought together, what could she do to stay and get some income? And then we decided that since she's cooking every day in her kindergarten, she can cook for the families of the kids, even if they are not coming to her kindergarten. So in the last few weeks, she became a kind of cook. She's not a chef, but she can cook. And she helps these families in this time. We all know that kids in the Corona time are very hungry all the time. And so she cooks for these families and she gets paid. And this was her way to be flexible and to keep on the income for her business, even if it's temporary for now. But her business will be able to return back to business with her old client when everything will be okay, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Mm-hmm. Actually, I have another question for you, Yonit. You and I were talking earlier on, and you actually mentioned something very important. Being a financial freedom coach, especially, you tell your clients that it's very important to have several income streams, not only one, but especially in these times for us, it's super important to have income coming in from different sides, no? Mm-hmm. Especially if maybe one or two of them are not bringing us business anymore. Mm-hmm. So could you actually elaborate on that a little bit and tell us a little bit about what you meant?
Sure. In regular times, having some passive incomes is very nice. And I can tell you, because we have more than a few passive income ourselves, I can tell you that now it's a very big gift for my family. Mm-hmm. But when the Corona has begun and people got unemployed, I got many people to ask me, okay, so now teach me how to create a passive income stream that I could create from today for tomorrow. And I told them it doesn't work like this, because every passive income, you have to create it, you have to build it. It's not from today to tomorrow. It takes sometimes weeks, sometimes months. And so I think that in this time, what you should do, what you can do, is start to be open to these ideas, because sometimes people do not believe that there is a thing called passive income. And now suddenly they are open for these ideas.
But what kind of income streams are we talking about? Sorry, Yonit. Like we're talking, I mean, in your case, the books, I assume, right?
The books is one of them. Information products is another one. Real estate is another one. Affiliation is another one. Okay, there are all kinds of passive income streams you can create, but you need to know that the first stage is to learn how to create it. And people now have the time to sit and learn. So I would advise people to get themselves together and to sit and learn these things. Maybe it will not bring the money tomorrow or next week, but this is the start of creating passive incomes.
Yes, for hopefully other times that will never happen. Exactly. Or for a better life, simply. Linda, you have created Mothers in Business.
Yes,
Tell
that's
us
right.
more about this unique project that you've created.
Thank you. Okay, yes, so I created Mothers in Business about a year ago. And the reason why I created it is because I've got over 20 years experience as a businesswoman and also being a mother myself of 3. And so I understand the challenges that mothers face when juggling between motherhood and business. And when I was in my earliest stages of motherhood, I found it quite challenging. At times I felt like I was losing my own self-identity because I became mum, and I felt like Linda was disappearing somewhere. I had a lack of confidence as well, and lots of other challenges, but I thought that it was me that was suffering from those challenges on my own, because everybody else presented themselves as being the perfect mum. So I thought, oh, there must be something wrong with me. But it wasn't until I got out of that phase and I started doing some research and talking to other mothers that I realised that it is quite common for mothers to feel like that, to feel like they have this lack of self-identity, lack of self-worth, lack of confidence. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity for me now to share my story with other women, but also share it in a way that I can help to inspire them to understand that they can be a great businesswoman as well as a great mum at the same time. And just picking up on what you were saying to Yonit earlier about, what does she say to her clients about anxiety? I often talk to women about being still, because for me, stillness is a great, great value to us as mothers, because as you know, we're constantly running around, juggling here, there and everywhere, bringing kids, to all these various activities, doing homework, running the home, etc. But how often do we actually get the opportunity just to sit still and have inner peace within ourselves? And I'm not talking about sitting still for half a day. It could be just 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day, whether it be at the morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time suits you. But right now, where we're in this period of lockdown, we've got so many unique opportunities to do things differently. As mothers, as women, as a nation, we have time to invest our time in our own self-care. So if somebody talks to me about anxiety, one of the first things I ask them is about how often do you get an opportunity just to be still, just be you, be within yourself, and have that time to pause, think, breathe, and think positive thoughts. And I just wanted to share that based on what you were talking to Yonit about with anxiety.
That's beautiful. Mindfulness, to practice mindfulness, to be in the moment is just so important. And it is indeed a huge opportunity that we have been given, to be able to just reflect and kind of be with ourselves. Yeah. Generally, we're always running, especially, with 3 kids. I mean, well, you have 2 kids and they're quite small. They're 10 and 12, Yonit, correct?
Yeah.
And yours are 11, 8, 19, and
14 and 18.
Okay.
12, 14 and 18.
12. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Well, and I was just going to say, Linda, actually, you also have a great mentor, a very good mentor, your own husband, who's one of the world-class teachers, masters, coaches. That's a good example to have in the family, not only for you, but also for your children, I'm sure.
Yes, that's absolutely. He's one of my coaches, and people often ask me, what's it like to have your husband as your coach? And that in itself has its own challenges. It brings a completely different dynamic to the relationship. And so, we have our weekly coaching sessions, and sometimes they're quite colourful, but I I value and appreciate his time.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a major impact on our children as well, because, you know, we are here to, not just us, but all parents are there to inspire their children, because mm-hmm. our children, you know, not necessarily, they don't always do as they're told, but they do as they see. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so important in this environment that we're in right now, because if we show a lot of fear and a lot of panic, and we show that we're, you know, we're out of control, that's what we're going to be passing on to our children.
Thank you so much for saying this, Linda. Thank you so much for saying this, because I believe that, especially now that we're all stuck at home 24/7 with the entire family, it's super important to communicate wisely, in a wise way, with our children, also with our husbands, wives, whatever, you know. Super important to think about the words we use as well, because we do get worked up and we do get, you know, anxious and sometimes maybe even aggressive, even though we may not even understand why. Just the state of not being able to leave the house. I mean, we were talking about this before. In Italy, we are really, really stuck, and it's week 7 almost now, and we have 3 more weeks to go, and we have literally been locked up in the house. And during Easter, during Passover, we actually had to be in our homes. We could not leave. And that for Italians is tough.
I can imagine, yeah.
It's tough for anyone, but especially for Italians who love to be out and about, especially Easter. You know, the weather was beautiful. And that is so, so heavy on a couple or on a family, you know, with smaller kids especially, who can't go running, and they can't go away further than 200 meters from the house, on only if they have a dog. So this would be a good time to get a dog. So, to just walk your dog. Anyway, so we've already talked about your kids, and I think this is beautiful what you said, the communication, you know. How could you actually communicate in a different way that you would not have done before? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are there words that you would use? Are there concepts that you get across? Like, what are the values that you're teaching your kids exactly? Do you have any specific examples? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, each family is going to be completely different, and the dynamics of each family is going to be very different. For example, with my husband, he spends a lot of time away from the home working abroad, and now the dynamic is very different because he's at home, and so we have to find a new way of being together, because I'm not used to him being around so much in the home. And so with our children, you know, we teach them the values of being calm. They don't watch the news at all. I don't even watch the news. You know, Mac will tell me, you know, every few days what's going on out there, but I purposely don't watch the news because I find it too negative. And so this period of time has been a complete learning curve for me as a mother. Although I've been a mother for 18 years, it's been a complete learning curve, because when I first heard that, you know, we were going to go into lockdown, having 3 children of different ages, and my eldest being at university, having to come home, I'm thinking, we're all going to be in this one house. There's going to be lots of arguments. There's going to be, you know, people complaining about whatever. But it hasn't been at all. And it's been such a growth period for all of us individually, because we've had to create a completely new structure that works for us, so that we can live in harmony. And structure, I think, is very, very important. Some people might think, well, no, you know, it's a terrible time we're going through, you know, let's forget about the structure and let's just go with the flow. But for us, structure really works well. And that goes from things like, you know, the times that they go to bed, the times that they get up in the morning, through to, you know, if it's during the school term and we've got to do homeschooling, we make sure that we all eat together at the same time every day. And for some people that might be normal, but for us, with our busy schedules outside of COVID-19, you know, sitting down together every single day at the same time, having a meal together, is almost impossible. but it's a beautiful thing that we have created now, and it's very special. And so when we're talking about the values with our children, when we have our meals, we also talk to them about what their wins were for that particular day. And then we celebrate their wins. And it can be something really basic, like they got up and they made the bed, or they had a shower before 9 o'clock or before 10 o'clock or whatever,
Yeah.
But
So what you're saying, oh, sorry, Linda. No, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is it just really, it improves the energy in the home, because we all look forward to that period of time. And then we make sure that after dinner we have an hour of games. We've got games in cupboards that we didn't even know about, and they're all coming out now, just having lots of fun. So I encourage any family out there to just create a new structure that's going to work for you in this environment.
What you call structure, I would call a routine. For me, it is a routine, like to get up in the morning. And one of my assistants, she actually said, no, I need to get dressed up to the nines in the morning and sit by the computer, just like as if I was in the office, because that way my day is structured. I do have a routine and I do whatever I need to do, and I don't feel like I'm in my jammies all day. I need structure. And I think that's a great idea. Also for kids, when you have smaller kids especially, there needs to be playtime, there needs to be study time. What do you do, Yonit? What do you?
I call it time frames, and we use it for dinner, for lunch, for sleeping, for playing, for learning, for sports, even sports activities at home or at the 100 meters we are allowed to go outside our house. But I do agree that it is very, very important to keep these routines or time frames, and we do it every day except for Fridays. Like in the usual period when there is no COVID-19, Fridays is the days they are allowed to go to sleep later. So it's the same now.
That's great. So now you were saying something before, Yonit. You actually said we need to think outside the box. Like we need to be creative now, no? So what can you say to someone who is very demotivated right now? Because when we get anxiety attacks and we actually get all worked up about the situation, we get blocked. And there's no way we can move and think out of the box or be creative. So before you said, okay, first of all, take a step back and breathe, no? But are there any other techniques that you tell your clients about that they could use when they're in a situation of being blocked?
Of course. I think everyone should take a conscious decision that they save their business, no matter what. And in order to do this, I always tell them, remind yourself why you have your business. Why do you have your business? And even write it in big letters and put it near your computer or near your bed, because when you have the why, you will find ways. So everyone should stop and think about the why, and then decide consciously, I will save my business no matter what. Maybe it will look differently, maybe it will look the same, but I decide to save it. And when you say it, and when you feel the why, you usually get motivated because you remind yourself your why. And it's much easier to act when you have the why.
Oftentimes the why is the kids being hungry. That's a good why to have too. What though if you're not talking to an entrepreneur, but someone who has just lost his job? Linda, what do you think? What would you actually suggest? What would you tell people if they had just lost their job? And there are a lot of people right now all over the world, in America, in the UK, in Israel, here in Italy. It's a dramatic situation where people are really wondering, how am I going to feed my kids? So what can we tell those people? apart from the fact, be creative and maybe do other jobs that otherwise you wouldn't be doing?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, it's a very challenging situation out there that's affecting, you know, millions of people around the world. And what I would say to somebody is, you know, and it's only my advice because I'm not in that situation, is try your best not to follow the herd, because it can be so easy to follow everyone's negativity. Oh, I've lost my job, I don't know what I'm going to do, I've got no income, I'm not going to be able to feed my kids, etc. But it is about getting yourself out of that herd and making sure that you feed your mind with positive thoughts, because the herd mentality can lead you down a very negative road. So feeding your mind, you know, ensuring that whatever you put into your mind is positive, and knowing that this situation is not just affecting you, it's affecting millions of other people around the world. So what can you do to get out of it? Even if it is something that, you know, we're going back to creating another opportunity, but it's about thinking about the future rather than getting stuck right now where you're at in this particular moment in time. Think about how you can create a better future for those who are following behind you, or even if you've got children as well, that you need to inspire. So I would say get yourself out of that herd mentality, surround yourself with positive people. There are so many, obviously you can't be out there surrounding yourself with positive people, but there are so many groups out there and opportunities online where people can connect with others and brainstorm, do masterminds. Like, for example, we've just created...
That is a beautiful idea. I think this is really a genius idea that you both said, actually, to connect with others who are in the same situation or in similar situations, to not be alone in this moment, no?
Yeah, exactly. And so we've also created a Mothers in Business mastermind that's going to be launched next month for that very same purpose, for mothers that are feeling that they're on their own. They might have lost their business, or they're just sort of clutching onto their business but don't really know where to turn. Brainstorming and masterminding with other people to get a fresh perspective on your situation, I think is a great benefit.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, so what else can you tell us about your business, Yonit? How has your business changed now that we have a lockdown? Do you teach most of your classes online, or how does that work?
Actually, my business is not that different, since it's already online for like 10 years. So most of our courses, people register to it and get the courses automated. We have automation in our business. The difference is, for example, for meetings, consulted meetings that we do online with Zoom or WhatsApp and not face-to-face. But most of our business is the same, because we are used to work from our house. We used to contact our clients online. So for us, it wasn't much a change.
Well, it's awesome. How has your business changed, Linda? I mean, you're now doing mastermind groups and things like that, but you were actually giving your courses in meeting rooms, no? Before?
That's right, yeah. I was fortunate to do events on an annual basis. So I was fortunate to get my last event in the weekend before the lockdown.
Wow.
As to whether or not we went ahead with it, we went ahead with it, and it was fantastic. But I'm also into property as well, so I run 3 different businesses. And for one of the strategies that we use, it was quite affected by the lockdown process, and that is in service accommodation. So we provide accommodation for holiday makers, etc. And so when the government announced that they were to close down those types of businesses, again, I thought, I'm not going to follow the herd, because lots of people just press the button and close their businesses, close their doors. And what I thought about was, okay, look at my environment. how can I at least keep that business running in this current situation? And then I looked at the area that my property was in and realised, although I knew it anyway, but I had to look at it in a different way, that it's on the same road as the main hospital. So I was able to provide accommodation, non-profit accommodation, to key workers that are going into the hospital or doing other work around key working for this COVID-19. So being creative and thinking out of the box has helped that part of the business for us.
Oh, that's great. How do you ladies see our future? How is it going to affect people? Like right now we have social distancing. We can't really touch and hug and snuggle and kiss. That for Italians is really, really heavy. We love to kiss and hug. So how are you going to see the future? Is that going to change? Like our business is going to be much more online in the future. What advice do you have? Like what business would it be good to go in? Like maybe an online business of some sort, or online courses, or is there any advice that you have?
I would certainly say online is a good route to go down. However, the whole world perhaps is going to be going online. And, you know, once I suppose it's a bit like when you start a relay race, and once they, you know, what's the word, you know, when the pistol goes off and all of the runners go out, the whole world is going to be running out there to, you know, to save their businesses. So whatever you choose to do, obviously try and have a unique selling point, something that's going to make you very different. Because if, for example, if we take coaching, if everyone's offering coaching online, what's going to make you special? Why am I going to go to you rather than I would go to Yonit? What is your unique selling point? And using this opportunity now to really, really be creative about how you can create that unique selling point for your business going forward in the future. But I also see in the future that, you know, socially, people will be quite skeptical initially. I don't think people are going to run out there and start hugging and, you know, being very close to each other, because it's very odd now, and I'm sure it is for yourselves when you go out shopping for groceries. People don't talk. It's like being in a library. It's so silent, and, you know, it comes near you and people are just walking away. And so I'd imagine when it's okay for us to go back to our normal state of grocery shopping, it's not going to be the usual hustle and bustle. It's going to take some time for people to mentally and emotionally feel comfortable with going back to what we used to have as the norm.
Yeah, that's so true. How about you, Yonit? What do you think?
Well, I think it's a good time to realize that one income channel is not enough. And we see it now for so many people that they stopped this channel and they're in big trouble. So I think people will realize this and will be open to think about more income challenge that they can create. They will be open for the passive incomes, that it's a good opportunity for them, and they will be open to learn new things. This is why I think this period of time, even though it's very challenging, it's a very good opportunity for people to grow financially and emotionally and mentally, and just to grow from this period.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's an incredible growth opportunity for all of us. You know, also our children, but especially for us adults, it's a very, very precious time. If you can honor this time that we have right now. Not everyone is able to do that right now, but I mean, it's really quite unique, the time we have been given. I would like like to say. Okay, I actually wanted to say hello to everyone who's online. So we actually have Marco, we have Stefano, hi. Ciao Irene, Stefano, Angela, Giovanna, Giusy. And we actually also have, I'm from Westchester, New York. Hello, Ali. Great. So maybe you can also type in where you're from. And if you have any questions, please type them into the chat so we can ask Yonit or Linda, or if you have questions for myself. We actually have Juicy. And what about you, Katja? How are you handling your business with your clients? Thank you for that question. Juicy is a guide. And as you know, you probably know, I also have a business in the field of tourism. We offer services and experiences to families with children and adults in 15 European countries. And needless to say, we're like not doing very well right now. Luckily, I'm also a business coach, so I also have other opportunities that maybe guides may not have in this very moment in time. And it's a really, really big challenge for guides, for drivers, for hotels, for cruise ships, and not to mention the cruise ships, because they're probably not going to be traveling for a number of months, because we have a lot of ghost ships floating around the Mediterranean and all over the place right now, and no one wants them. No one wants them to dock in their ports. So it's a tough period right now, but I think after all, we'll actually be able to get through it, as you said, Yonit. Juicy, what I can tell you is, I think exactly the same way as Yonit and Linda think. We need to think out of the box. We need to actually look at other opportunities, because if we dwell on our situation right now, then we're not going very far. I think we really need to, sit down, reflect upon it for a minute, and kind of make a game plan for the next months to come, probably like the next 10 months or so. I mean, we're all travelers. I know Yonit and Linda, you all travel a whole bunch, and it's really, really tough to stay put and, to put all your big travel projects on ice is quite a challenge. That's a challenge for us, I guess, no? To
one of the most important ones,
because we all love to travel. And I do hope that this will, that it'll come back, once the fear is gone, the initial fear of, maybe getting the virus, the second ondata, the second wave coming, whatever. As soon as the travel bans have been lifted, I do hope that Americans, Australians, and whoever else will be traveling again, and so will we. Yeah. So that's, I guess we had another question. I'm sorry. There's Angela. I've been reinventing myself. I'm loving this time to regroup. Okay. Do you want to also tell us what you've done, Angela, to reinvent yourself? That's actually beautiful. So what else can you tell us? Talking about travel, did you actually have any travel projects, the two of you, with your families?
Yeah, we have went to the Caribbean. In July. So.
The Caribbean for Easter? You were supposed to go to
July.
In July. Okay.
We were supposed to be in Romania this April. Right now. Yeah.
Right.
Cancelled.
These are all projects that will be put on ice, and then you'll probably travel a little further ahead. I mean, the travel industry has probably been hit the hardest, I mean, a lot of airlines will be going out of business. I just heard German Wings, which is the sister of Lufthansa, is going out of business. I had booked a couple of flights with them. That's just life. I mean, we have to deal with the situation and just look ahead. Exactly. I think that's really, really good. Anything else you can, last word of advice, last piece of advice, of wisdom you can give to our listeners, Yonit?
For me, it's this two main things that I've already said. First one is that know and remind yourself that these two will pass. It's only temporary, even though it looks like it's the end of the world, it's not. And these two will pass. And I think it's a matter of a few months and we will be over this thing. So this is a good reminder. I tell myself, I tell my kids, I tell my clients, this too will pass. And the second one is you are not helpless. You are valuable. Remember this, because people, when they got fired, they lost themselves. They lost their selves. And you need to remind yourself that you are valuable and you are a creative person and you can create yourself a new life. It's even exciting if you think about it like this. So this will pass, this too will pass, and remember that you are a valuable person.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Yonit.
Thank you.
You know, you said something earlier on that we always have a choice, and that's something I would like to actually give you on your way, whoever is listening to us, because we do always have a choice. Yeah. That does not mean that this situation that we're in permits for any choices, but you have a choice to either think good thoughts, positive thoughts, that will allow you to be creative and to look ahead, or you to listen to your little voice, the inner voice, the little devil that makes everything worse and makes you look at it in a very dark way, no? So that's what Linda said. You said that before.
As Linda said, you can start by the choice of listening or not listening to the news, and how much do you listen to the news? Because people listen all day, they can't be positive because the news are not positive right now. So you can choose to listen to the news once a day, once in 2 or 3 days, and in the other time, choose to listen to materials like this broadcast that would uplift you, not make your energy go down.
Yeah, good choice. How about you, Linda? What's your last precious piece of advice you would like to give to us?
Thank you. So we're all in isolation, but it doesn't mean that we have to be in isolation in our minds, in our body, and in our soul. Let's take this time to declutter our mind, body, and soul. So like we were all talking about, the thoughts that we have in our mind, let's declutter any negative thoughts that we have so that we can have a clear, open space for positive thoughts and for creativity. Declutter our bodies as well, because, we are stuck at home. We may have limited food supplies. Be creative with the food that we put in our bodies, but make sure that food gives us energy so that we can have the energy to have those good thoughts, and that we can connect with other people. Don't be in isolation on your own. We've still got the resources of the internet, being online, WhatsApping people, doing that app called House Party or Zoom or whatever you want to do. So connect with your mind, body and soul during this unique period of time, and don't be alone.
Very beautiful. And one last thing I would like to say also, try to help others who are not doing as well as we are. Because not only does it make us feel good to be able to help, and I know there are a lot of people who don't even know how to feed their animals anymore, and a lot of them actually abandon their dogs here in Italy. Over 20,000 dogs have been abandoned. But why don't you just ask for help? Ask someone else to help you get through this terrible time. So, well, thank you so much, ladies. Let me see if they have any questions. Oh, Juicy actually said lots of fake news. Yes, this is also something I wanted to address, because we actually watch a lot of the alternative channels that you can find everywhere. I'm somewhat of a hacker at home, so he finds all the stuff that the underground news, where people have news that others may not be able to find so easily. And it's just really shocking what the news are doing to us, all this terror and all this, it really makes you feel miserable. So I think that's a really good advice to, keep it Filter. Yeah, filter. First of all, filter the news that you're watching and check out different channels to see, is this really so true? Because the figures that we have been given of all the people that have died, most of them had a lot of other things before they had COVID. Okay, so I mean, I'm not trying to diminish the death toll or what happened, because obviously, I mean, a lot of people have lost their grandparents, their parents, and so on. But I mean, let's try to filter as much as we can and stay positive.
And you know, I would like to add one last sentence and to share with you one idea that we are doing at home, and it's very good for us. I took a very big white paper and I hung it on the door near the kitchen. And every time someone is going to the kitchen, and you know, it happens a few times a day, you need to take a marker and write anything that you are grateful for this day, today. And we have like a very big whiteboard and so many great things that we wrote. And it's very nice. Every time you go to the kitchen, you have this mission, but it's good. It keeps the energy up.
So it's not a grateful journey, but it's a journal. It's a grateful sheet of paper. That's awesome. So everyone could actually write something. That's a great suggestion. I love that, Yonit. That's
Thank you.
Very beautiful. All right. Well, I wanted to thank you very, very much at this point. Thank you so much, Yonit. Say hi to your lovely husband, Zahi, and your beautiful children. And Linda, please say hi to Mac. Thank you for being here. And say hi to your beautiful, gorgeous children. They must have a hard time not doing all the sports they're generally doing. I know they work out a lot. So, all right. And thanks to all our beautiful participants who have followed us. Thank you. Grazie mille a tutti. And thank you also to New York and everywhere else. And yeah, stay tuned. We have more coming up. So thanks a lot. Have a lovely, lovely evening. And I hope to see you soon in person, hopefully.
In Rome.
In Rome. Yes, Linda, you guys have to come to Rome.
Thank you very much, Katja. It's been a pleasure.
Well, it's been a great, great pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay.